Liv Morgan finally defended her championship after 2 months. Now, of course, I know people usually like to say, for whatever reason, that she doesn't book her title appearances and title shots and everything like that, as if that's not already obvious that the wrestlers don't really book like that. But yeah, I just have to make that clear that yes, we all know, everyone under the sun with a brain who knows that Liv Morgan is not the reason why she's not defending. It's the people in creative who are not creative. But the fact that this is a discussion in the first place is kind of sad. Not only Liv Morgan not being booked well as a champion or at all, really, but still the greatest women's world champion of all time. Wait, greatest women's champion of all time, but not really being booked as such. I mean, she's in a Queen of the Ring tournament where she gets to fight herself if she wins. We're going to have Liv Morgan versus Liv Morgan. She can't go for Rhea. Rhea's injured. So if Liv Morgan ends up winning this Queen of the Ring tournament, it'll be Liv Morgan versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. But I think there's a slight problem with that, though. And, it's kind of obvious which problem that would be. But yeah, it's kind of sad in the first place. They had nothing for her, so they're just here's a tournament, and she found out. It's not like she entered. They just said, yeah, we got nothing for her at all with this title, so we'll just have her in a tournament where she gets to fight herself if she wins. So at a house show, Liv Morgan defended the championship for the first time in 2 months. They put her in the same exact. I knew this was going to happen too. They put her in the same predicament that they put Io Shirai in, going all this time as champion, but not being booked to defend it. They put the championship on these women and these men and not have a plan for them afterwards. It's just like the Sol Ruka situation. They put more effort into Sol Ruka, who's only been there for like 3 weeks on the main roster, already having these matches, but they didn't give Liv Morgan one, and she's been champion for 2 months. This is what I'll be talking about. We have surpassed 2 months as Liv Morgan as champion and nothing for her. No creative, no story. Liv Morgan doesn't even have a story like that. She's the side quest manager. She's a side quest woman who talks to Danhausen or whatever. And then she just, damn. I mean, I would say catering, but she's just in a clubhouse talking with Dom, teasing a never ending story with Roxanne and Raquel. And then after that, she'll be a manager in their match instead of having a match of her own because they're failing her as a champion. Liv Morgan is fantastic. I was one of those people who were actually in the minority of being super happy for her when she beat Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So to see that she's getting this other reign that back in like 2024, she was champion, but that championship reign was garbage too because they only booked it to revolve around the Judgment Day. And then Liv and Rhea were going at it for 1,000 years. I'm going to take back the title that I've never lost from Liv Morgan when I come back. And then, she came back and then she beat her. And then, just a whole bunch of, I don't know, man. It was torture to sit through. But now she's champion once more and is booked worse than the 2 months and like one match. And the last match I remember Liv having was against Sol Ruka. And that was like I think that was the night after WrestleMania. So yeah, this is like a disgrace. Liv Morgan deserves better than I already made a video about it, but that was because Liv Morgan made the news twice for surpassing a month with no championship defenses. But I really hate those fans, though. They'll say, well, to be fair, y'all getting mad at the wrestlers, and they'll just completely miss the argument. They'll completely miss the point of the statement. They'll take it offensively like we're blaming the wrestlers when we're blaming the booking. The wrestlers don't book. The wrestlers don't have control over that, as if we don't know. I've always hated when people say garbage like that. But yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. Instead of just And what makes it even more inexcusable is the fact that Liv is not even injured. See, people are trying to cope and trying to make excuses for creative being non-creative and say, well, probably Liv Morgan's injured, after that match with Stephanie and at WrestleMania. No, she's perfectly fine. She even had a match after WrestleMania. So that argument was already ruled out. But then they try to cope more. The cope warriors, when it comes to this, to this creative being actually good when it's not, it's crazy. That WWE is backwards. They'll put a championship on someone without a plan. They'll start a storyline, even though we already saw the match. And then they'll book for the audience in attendance instead of booking for the people at home. Everything is backwards with this company. So when I saw Liv Morgan not have a match for a week, I already knew something was going to go wrong. And now we're at a month, now 2 months. I was worried that they weren't going to have any plans for her at the second week that she wasn't fighting. And now we're at 2 months. And the house shows, that's a whole different beast. The house shows don't even matter like that. When it comes to title reigns and title defenses, WWE doesn't care about those. The only way that WWE will ever see a house show as canon when it comes to title defenses is if it furthers a storyline. Other than that, I mean, Cody Rhodes had 7 title defenses on TV, his last title reign or whatever, but he had like 300 or so, like not 300, 30 plus title defenses during house shows, but no one's seeing them. So why does it matter? Well, to be fair, even though he defended the title 3 times on TV, he defended it 50, 30, 60, 70 times on house shows. So that's a great champion. No, it's not a great champion. It's not a great championship reign. It's just not. That's not it's stupid. Imagine if Roman Reigns went 3 years only having 10 title defenses on TV, and the rest of his 1,000 title defenses were on live events where no one sees them. The rest of the world doesn't see the shit. It's stupid. I don't know, man. Like that, the house show argument is so stupid. They'll make these house shows more important than they actually are. WWE does not care about these house show events when it comes to the championship defenses, unless it furthers the storyline. Or if the championship's changing hands. Like I remember it was Madison Square Garden 2017 when it was AJ Styles versus the face of America at the time, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was defeated by AJ Styles, and then AJ took the championship from him, and then they made it a bigger deal because the championship was changing hands, not because a match was also Madison Square Garden, but it's because a championship was changing hands at a house show. If it was just a regular house show and they were just having a regular match with the championship, it wouldn't have been a big deal. So this excuse that it somehow matters when it's it doesn't. This is garbage. Liv Morgan should be having more matches, but they had no idea what to do with her after they gave her the title. So they're just going to shove her into a tournament that makes no sense for her to be in the first place. And why Raquel isn't going to win Queen of the Ring to face the person that she's already had a story with, but then they stop the story between her and Liv is stupid to me too. Raquel should be Queen of the Ring. She should be Queen of the Ring. She should. And then have her go for Liv Morgan because Liv Morgan eliminated Raquel from the Royal Rumble this year. They refused to touch on that. They refused to touch the fact that Liv eliminated Raquel. Raquel should dethrone Liv Morgan. I don't know, man. It's been sitting right there since the Royal Rumble, and they touched on it one time, and then nothing. So crazy. One defense after 2 months. What a joke, man. Liv Morgan deserves so much better. What a shame.